I attended the Bureau of Land Management Educational Forum and public comment just last week, or that was this week,
wasn't it? It was Monday, yeah.
Monday. And they were saying that they are moving towards no longer using open pits, but it's still all on a volunteer basis, isn't it, for the industry? They're
Bingo, Sonia. Well, what the industry is moving towards is not moving to me. The industry can do a lot of things on its own, and sometimes in this case, it may move to not using pits because it's economically efficient.
Because they lose some.
Well, if they have real high density of wells and they have those wells piped together, they can treat some of this return water and send it to the next well. So where it's become economically efficient, they're doing it. That's not what us citizens are concerned about, their economics. Us citizens are concerned about what they release. They should be required to have tanks and not be allowed to have these pits. That's not what happens in Colorado.
So basically, with a nice little breeze, it could just shift.
Oh, they're counting on the breeze.
Yeah, that would shift those.
Right, right. What the industry wants to do there is bring the fracking fluid that does come back to the pit. They want it to evaporate and reduce some amount of their water. Typical for this industry, they'll take that flowback water, the production water, and re-inject it deeper into permanent disposal.
And have any studies been done by non-industry in terms of what happens to air quality around these pits, these open pits?
Oh, we have precious little information. The most pivotal, I think, was done by the Sacramento Institute out of Grand Junction after there was a significant problem with an Encana well out there in Garfield County. And citizens were complaining about their compromised health. Citizens complained about nausea, nosebleeds, neuropathy, like nerve pain. And so many citizens were complaining about that.
Which are characteristic of methane or benzene or...
Right, which are characteristics of these volatile organic compounds. The researcher there, Dr. Teresa Coons, she identified that the volatiles coming off of these pits and some of the uncontained tanks was a potential source and needed more research. But
at this point, we don't know what some of them are, and no one's studying them with.
This is very disappointing to me. Let's go back to what we started with. That I complained about the EPA study in 2004. That was under the Bush administration. Under the Obama administration, the EPA has announced it will do a study at Congress's request. And last July, it announced as part of its national study they would investigate this air pathway. But here in January, they announced they withdrew from that, and they're just looking at the pathway of these fracking chemicals harming the drinking water, which is legitimate to be done, but it's very disappointing that they now are ignoring this air pathway.
So are under current federal laws and state laws regarding air quality, what is the status for oil and gas? What kind of reporting requirements do they have in terms of release of gas and that sort of thing?
Mm-hmm. Well, it is a little tighter here on the Front Range. Thanks to EPA and the CDPHE, 2 years ago it was noticed that the drilling in Weld County was causing a huge release of volatile organic compounds. Volatile organic compounds mixed with nitrogen oxide at the surface forms surface level ozone, a significant health impairment. It's like getting a sunburn on your lungs when you breathe in ozone. So because of that, there has been an aggressive effort by the CDPHE to force Weld County oil and gas operators to stop venting their VOCs from tanks. And that could lead to stopping this industry from using pits altogether, but it hasn't so far. The industry, there are a number of operators in Weld County, like I said, who I think for economic reasons have moved away from these open pits for their flowback fluids. But one thing I want to make clear, it should absolutely be required in these state leases that there be pitless construction and green completion, and not allow these open pits where these volatile organics will evaporate right into the air.
So that's something the Colorado legislature could
That's something that Colorado State Land Board could do prior to this lease. Okay. And if it's going to do it, it needs to do it prior to the lease. It's also something that the Oil and Gas Commission could order, and that's another possibility. The Oil and Gas Commission Director Dave Neslin could order that this area is a sensitive area, as it is, and thereby require all companies to use what they call green completion technology, which doesn't allow the flowback fluid to come to a pit.
Okay.